Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni, and we are going to bind this baby. I'm so excited. I love binding books. I think that might be one of my favorite things. I used to dread it, but now I just really enjoy it. So let's clear some of this stuff off so that we can fix our signature first. What I've got is all these pages, and they're put in order, but they're not all the same size, so I want to make sure that they're lined up the way that I want them to be lined up. I'm also going to be looking for anything that I need to flip out so that it doesn't get caught in the binding. That's one of them right there. In fact, let's put a post-it note on that to hold it open. I don't want it to get bound closed. Okay, and then we've got this right here. We want this page to be centered over all of that. Now you can center things or you can kind of stagger them if you want to, just whatever you like and feel comfortable with. In this particular case, I think with most of the things I'm probably going to be centering them, but like this page I think I want to have up a little bit because I'd like her face to be higher. I don't want it to be all the way at the bottom. And then this one, this is on there. Okay, so this I want to flip out this way so that it's not going to get in the way of the binding. All right, and let's bring this down and center it with everything else. There we go. Keep that flipped out. This is, let's bring that up and center it a little bit. Let's center this one too. I want to make sure that they're all lined up so that the center of the page is lined up too. That's not in the way, so that's not going to cause us any problems. Okay, because we don't want to bind anything crooked if we can help it. Fold that out. So the things that we have folded in towards the center, we want to fold out away from the center as much as possible so that nothing gets caught in the middle. Okay, and then since I have that other page up some, I'm going to bring this down. It's going to be level with the bottom, and that way this part can show at the top. Okay, and then this, I'm going to take out the tag that I have in there. And I want to center that. Uh-oh, did I get my binders? Here we go. I tried to get everything together before I started recording, but I forgot about the binders. Okay, and so everything else should be lined up, but we're just going to check. Mainly at this point, I'm checking to make sure that there's nothing that I need to flip out. There should be, I think, one more thing to flip out. There's this. Okay, so I think everything's taken care of, but let's just check to be sure. Okay, and all right. Oh, wait a second. That needs to be flipped out. Okay, and then we've got this. There's our doily. This. Oh yeah, and then the card. We want that to stay in the center. Ah. Oh dear, when I did that, I kind of pulled it out. There we go. Okay, so I'm just centering that over it all. What's going on here? Oh, that's, yeah. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, so everything should be, I'm going to reach in the middle and I'm going to squish it all down really hard. There we go. Okay, then I should have had my binder clips ready first. I always forget to do this. Before you start doing anything, get your binder clips ready. That's the smart thing, but I usually forget and it always turns out fine, so it's just inconvenient. Okay, so if you can get your binder clips ready so that they're ready to clip, that just always helps. Okay, and I'm going to line them up here on my sewing machine so that they're easy to reach but out of the way. And I'm going to move this also. Okay, so I forgot to say at the beginning what all you need. You need binder clips for large ones. I used to use small ones, and it really does make a difference when they're large. You need your book, you need your cover, you need a needle with a large eye in it. You need an awl, Okay, you need something soft to push it into. I've got wood that I use. A lot of people use like an old paperback or a catalog. This would work really well too. Okay, I just like this wood. It's from the side of my house up in the mountains. I don't want to put that down. So I just like it. It's special to me. Okay, and then you also want whatever you're going to use for binding. I love to use twine. There's a few things that I don't use twine for if it's like a really clean book, but you want to make it 3 times the height of your book. And I actually usually do 4. I always figure I can cut some off, but I want to make sure that I have enough for dangles. This is a little bit more than 4. It's actually closer to 5, but this was already cut. So I'm just going to keep it that way, and I can just cut off whatever I've got left, and it can go into Franken paper. Okay, so now I'm ready to clip. So I'm going to pull it all up. I'm going to go into the middle, into the center. I hope you guys can see this. And I'm pushing down as hard as I can in there because I want everything to just be pushed down. I'm going to have this as closed as I can while I clip it. It's going to be hard to show how to clip it, but I'm going to do my best to have you guys see. Okay, so with it as closed as possible, you're going to try to clip it together. Clip the whole, oh, you need the cover on it, sorry. You want to clip it with the cover. Okay, and so in this case, because of the way that I made the cover, I want to make sure that I've got it all lined up there on the bottom so that that flat part is on the bottom. Good. Okay, so now I want to reach into the center, pull it all down as much as possible, and I want to clip it all, including the cover. Okay, and it's kind of hard. These things are really tight and they're awkward to work with, the binder clips, but they're very important. And you'll see why if you've never done this before. Okay, and I'm doing one up here on the top as well. Okay, so here's where I've got it so far, is like this. Okay, and then I'm going to do the others. I'm not going to do them in as close because there's not room because of these being down here. I'm going to do these ones out more towards the outside. Okay, so I'm going to do, again, I want it to be closed as much as I possibly can. Okay, and then over here. Because the position that you want them stuck in or held in is closed. Okay, so I've got that all ready. I'm going to grab my board. Okay, hopefully y'all can see this. You're probably going to end up seeing me, and you're probably going to see my fat stomach because that's what's going to get in the way. Because I have to stand up. I can't do this sitting down. Okay, so you're going to thread your needle. You don't want to thread it like all the way double or anything like that. You're not going to tie any knots. Okay, just have that ready. Okay, then you're going to take your awl. Here's where I need to stand up. You're going to take your awl. You're going to stand this up and try to keep it as closed as you can, but I'm going to show you first where I'm going to poke. I'm going to poke holes. I'm going to poke one right in the middle of this, even though it's not in the center of the book. I'm going to poke it in the middle of this. I'm going to poke it halfway between there and the top, so about here, and then halfway between there and the bottom, so about here. Okay? All right, so I'm using my awl, and I'm going to push it through the cover to about here, this rough part. All right, because I want to get as big of a hole as the awl will make for me. It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of strength at first, and especially because I've glued and sewn the cover on the spine. Okay, so I've made it a little bit more difficult for myself, but it does hold better. Can you see where the awl is coming through right there? You do not want to have your hand there. Okay, have your hand far enough away, but you've got to be able to hold it tight. You're pushing through. You know, if you're pushing really hard, it's suddenly going to go through really fast. If you've got your hand there, you're going to stab yourself. You do not want to do that. Okay, then you can use your wood to push it back out. Okay? Now this is not held in place with any clips. So when I sew the binding, I'm going to have to put it in place. And in fact, right now I'm going to take it out, but don't let me forget to put it in. Please, I'll be so sad if I don't have that in there. Okay, so halfway approximately between that hole and the bottom is here. Doesn't have to be exact. Does not have to be exact. I want to have it closed as much as possible while I'm poking that in there. And then poke through. I'm going to put my hand kind of close, but not where I'm going to get stabbed. Okay. all the way to that. I went past the rough part, so now I may have a hard time pulling it back through, but that's okay. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing up here. The first time that you do it, it's kind of scary, you know, because you're scared that you're going to wreck your cover and stuff. You're scared of everything. After the first time, it's not so bad. Okay? It's actually kind of fun, and you get a real sense of accomplishment. I'm going to put this in before I forget, because I really am afraid that I'll leave it out, and I really like that piece. Okay, so we're done with the board. And now we want our needle with our twine, or you could use really thin ribbon. You can use, I've used baker's twine. I wouldn't use yarn because that can fray pretty easily. There's binding linen that you can use. Okay, so I want this to hang down a ways because I'm going to have dangles on it. I'm not going to have them going down that far, but I know that I've got plenty of twine here, so I can have it hang down farther than I need to. I'm going to go through the middle. I'm going through the hole. Since this wasn't connected, I had to go through here separately and then match it up with the hole. I'm going to close the book as much as I can with my hand in there and pull this through. Okay, and make sure that my twine is still hanging out as much as I want it to. Right about there. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that the other, see, this end isn't pulled through yet, so I need to make sure that that end's pulled through. You want to have one end pulled through. Okay, so now since that got caught coming through, I want to make sure that it's shorter here. Okay, all right, then, so I went out through the middle hole. I'm going to go in through the top hole. This is a little bit harder. Going in is always harder for some reason than going out. Okay, so at least it all matches up. Sometimes it gets moved around a little bit and it's not so easy to match it up. Oh wow, that went through easy. Usually I have to really struggle with it, guys. So that was good. Okay, then I'm going to come back down and go back through that middle hole again. All right, this time it's going to be a little bit harder because there's that twine in there already. Ooh, this is, oh, I shouldn't say anything. Knock on wood, this is going so much easier than it usually does. Pretty incredible. Okay, you made really good holes. Okay, now you want to make sure, see how this is all like bunched up here? You want to make sure that it all goes through nice and smooth. Okay, so that's a tail that needs to be pulled through. Oh no, that's the stuff that I have dangling down here. Okay, so I want to keep that, I want to hold that down here so it's still dangling. Make sure I'm not catching anything that I don't want to in there. Now I'm going to come up back through that bottom hole. Okay, this is called a pamphlet stitch. You can find videos all over the place. If you can't understand it from mine, look for somebody else's. They might explain it a way that you can understand better. Okay, so I've come back up through that bottom hole, and you guys, usually it's a lot harder. It takes longer. Sometimes you have to kind of separate your pages to get it to come up through. For some reason today it went really well, really easily for me. So I don't want you to worry if it's harder, because normally it's harder for me. Okay, then I'm going to pull, I'm going to make sure that everything out here is pulled nice and firmly. I'm going to be covering this, so I'm not too worried about how it looks, but I do want to make sure that it's nice and firm. Okay, and then I'm going to take this, I'm going to go underneath the top stitch, just under it like that. Okay, that way it's on the opposite side from where this one is. Okay, now I've got that lace that's kind of getting in the way there. I want to make sure that I pull it tight because this part is going to show. The inside's going to show. Okay, then I'm just going to tie a knot. Tying a single knot right there. Okay, and then I'm going to tie another knot. This thing is going to be full of knots because I do not want it to come apart. Do not want it to come apart. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I didn't have any fabric already, so I'm going to get some here. I'm going to use some of this fabric that I tore. Okay, just a little piece of it to kind of tie it in with the front cover. I'm going to cut off the end because that's selvage. Fray it a little bit. Sorry about the train. I have no control over the train. Sorry. Come on, fray. You know, anytime I fray on camera, it doesn't go well. There we go. Come on, come on. There we go. Shouldn't be so hard to fray such a small section there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to stick that in the center. I'm going to kind of fold it like a fan, like that, which of course it won't stay. And I'm going to also cut a little bit of lace. Not too much, just a little bit. And actually I'm going to cut this in half because it's too wide. This is double wide lace. It's really cool. It's very easy to cut into just your single piece if you want single piece, or I could do pink. I'm going to do the white. I like the white. The ivory. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pucker it like a fan. And I'm going to put let's put the lace in and then pucker it like a fan. How's that? Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to tie it. Again, I'm holding this down with my finger. If you have another person that you can ask to stick their finger in there to hold your little piece of fabric in place with your lace, that's always really helpful. But since Bill's gone, I've learned to do it by myself. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 knots again. And you don't have to do the fabric and lace. I like it. I saw Gail Augustinelli do it one time, and I just thought that was so pretty. Just a nice little touch to it. Okay, and then I'm going to put, oops, just a tad, that's a very specific measurement, you guys, a tad of glue on that knot, which means I'm not going to close the cover until it dries, right? I'm just putting a tad of glue on the knot just to make sure that it holds. I can take off my clips now. Everything is done. I actually, before I put the glue on, I should have gone through and checked to make sure that nothing is caught in the binding, but I can't do that now because I put the glue on there. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this down so I've got both of these so that they're coming out the bottom, and I'm going to put some beads on them. Okay, this one here is definitely way too long, so I can cut it so that it's short enough that I can work with it. I may still cut it even shorter, but okay, I have some beads someplace. Here we go. I have some beads that I've chosen to use for little danglies. I think on this one I'm going to have pink. Okay, so I want to have a knot close to the bottom where I don't want the beads to slip up because I don't want them to go inside the book. Okay, so the knot's just going to be there to keep the bead from slipping up farther. Okay, so I've got that knot there. I'm going to do another one with this a little bit farther down. You don't want them both at the same place. You want one dangly to be slightly lower than the other. It just looks better that way. Not that much lower though. There we go. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's take this one, and I think I'm going to use this sparkly pink bead, and I'm going to use this. So I'm going to make a little knot in between the two. I don't want to make the knot right snug against the bead because I want it to be able to move a little bit. That's part of what makes these things beautiful, is the fact that, you know, things can move around a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to, there's probably like a really professional way to tie these knots, but I've never learned it, so I just make a knot. And I'm going to tie it twice so that it's really good and tight. Actually, what I'm going to do, will it go up in there? Oh, it will. Okay, there's room for it to go up in that. I like that. Okay, so then I'm just going to cut this off. Okay, right there. Great. So the end of that is tucked in there, and I'm going to put a little dab of glue on this knot as well, just to keep it secure. And the glue will dry clear. Nobody will see it. Nobody will know that you even put the glue on there, but it just helps keep it secure so that you don't lose the beads. Okay, then this one, I've already done my knot. I'm going to do a little silver and white bead at the top if the twine will fit through. This is a thick piece of twine and a bead that has a small hole. Okay, it gets thinner up here. and I'm probably going to cut it anyway, so let's see if we can fit it in this way, otherwise we may have to choose another bead. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there, I'm going to tie a little knot. Ooh, hopefully I didn't cut this too short. Get that knot up close, but not completely snug against it. I've got a little pom-pom bead, isn't that cute? That can go on here next. I like to have 3 beads. Oh, I don't want to cut this any shorter. It's like a little piece that's hanging off of the... So can I just cut that piece off? I don't want to cut this any shorter. I won't have enough to work with. Oh, come on. Let's try sticking the needle through, or the awl. All fit through. Okay, it's like... Oh, it's like closed in the middle. That's not going to work. Yeah, I can't get the awl through it. Okay, so I'm going to have to choose another bead. Or just have maybe just those 2. No, it definitely needs something pink. Okay, hold on, and I'm going to grab a pink bead. See what we've got here. Something not too fancy. Maybe like this. One of these little crystally beads. Hopefully the hole is big enough for this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's good. I'm not going to try tying another knot there because I don't have enough twine. Oh gosh, it's going to fit through. I chose an angel wing charm. That just seemed like it was the most appropriate. There we go. Okay, good. I'm going to tie a knot. The hole in this bead is not big enough for me to stick the leftover twine up into, unfortunately, because I really liked how that worked on the other one. But that's okay. All right, and if you're ending with a bead that has 2 holes in it, then you can just tie a knot at the bottom after putting the bead on. Okay, and if anybody knows of a video where somebody showed you how to tie a better knot than what I do, I would love to learn how to do it. Just, you know, put it in the comments for me, or make a video for me and tag me in it. Because my knots are really not that great, and I'm really struggling here because I cut this too short. Shoot. Well, it was because I needed to in order to be able to fit that bead on, because the twine was too thick up until this part. There we go. That's good. Okay, so there we go. There's our dangles. All right, and in the next video, because I need to let the glue dry here, in the next video I'll show you how I'm going to cover this part of the spine with some lace. I don't always do that. A lot of times I just leave it open, and in fact some people put beads along on here as they're sewing it together. I'm going to try that sometime, but this time I really want to have lace there. So okay, so that's it. That's it, you guys. It's like really, really easy. It's scary the first time that you do it, but after that it's really not a big deal. It took us 20 minutes, and you know, if I was doing this without having to talk, it probably would take me 10 or 15. Okay, it's not a hard thing to do, so don't be afraid. The first time that I did it, I had several journals made and ready because I was so scared to bind them. Don't do that. Go ahead and bind it, okay? All right, I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.